Hey everybody, it is Tina. Welcome to my video today. We are going to make a card and I'm just getting set up here. I am early today. I usually don't go live until around 11, but I am a little early today. And so, hey Chris, I wanted to get on here and get this card made. I've been thinking about it all morning. Let me just get where my comments are. Good morning, guys. Hi, Kathy. Yeah, I'm a little early here. Okay, so I can see comments now. And I meant to print out my picture before, because I'm casing a card today, and I meant to print it out before I got started here, but I did not do that. So I think I'm going to just try to go by memory and we'll see how that goes. We're going to use the Modern Heart stamp set, and part of the reason I'm early today is because I've been up since 4:30 and I'm just really struggling with sleeping right now. We're having a little bit of a heat wave and I'm sick of the heat, quite honestly. And so I've been up, and what I want to do is do my live, and then I'm going to run to the post office and drop some things off, and then I'm going to come home and take a nap before my kids get home from school, because it is Friday. I just said to Chris just a second ago, I said, I was texting her, and I said, I'm back to caring what day of the week it is. I remember as a new mom, well, not even as a new mom, but as a mom when I had little kids, because all of our kids are really close together. So there were many years that I was just home by myself with babies. And I didn't understand why people cared when it was Friday, because it never mattered to me what day of the week it was. It was the same stuff, but a different day, right? And so when they started school, the weekends began to matter again. And our schedule is still a little weird because my husband works Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then he's off on, do we have lovely lipstick blends? Yes, we do. He is off on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so our weekends are kind of backwards. But with the kids in school, I certainly, we're back to caring about what day of the week it is, and we're only one weekend. Hey Daisy. Okay, so let's, I just want to make sure I didn't miss any comments. Iona said her husband gets up at 4:30 and leaves for work. Yeah, it's a very long day. I'm not used to getting up that early. I mean, it's not horrible. I wish I was a morning person, but I just don't tend to get up that early. Okay, so I saw this card on Instagram and I have to make it. And that very rarely happens to me, where I see a card and I just have to make it. And it was done with this stamp set. And I've been using the stamp set a ton because this was the stamp set that we used in Stamp Club this month. So we made 3 different cards with this, and then I have a live video that I'm going to do making a different card. So I used it in, 4 different ways. And I love this set. It's one of the ones I wanted to get right away out of the annual catalog. It's a $1 Million Achiever set, meaning that the person who helped design this reached $1 million in career sales for Stampin' Up. And when you do that, there's lots of fun perks. And one of them is to help design a stamp set. And this, I believe this was our very first person who was international. So she is overseas. I don't know what country she's in. I don't know how to say her name. I'm not even going to try. I just know she's not in this country. So that was fun. And so I kind of have a thing about collecting all of these because I think it's fun. And so anyways, I was excited to get this. I saw this card created on Instagram and I was like, I have to make this card. I have to. The stamp set is out already and I desperately need to make this set, this card. And what usually happens is I have my content planned out for several weeks to a month in advance. So I already know what stamp sets I'm using for posts. All of September is already planned out. So it's rare that I just go to my my, you know, stamps and pull a stamp out and then like want to create with it. Usually I'm following a pretty strict schedule. So I thought this was kind of fun that it like randomly came up and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. So let's get started. I'm going to do this card in several different colors. So I've picked kind of 3 really fun colors that I want to do this in. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll create a PDF for you guys probably this evening, and I will get it posted for you guys. If you're seeing this on Tuesday, then you're just going to want to head to my website. And if you're seeing it on YouTube on Tuesday or thereafter, you'll just head to my website, and that is where you will get the PDF. But I'll also post it here on Facebook. Okay, so we're going to need three card bases. So I'm going to cut all of my pieces first, just so they're all cut and ready to go. And then we'll do the stamping because it's going to be kind of a lot. This is a fun color combo, huh? I'm not doing these all together. We're doing these kind of separately, but it is kind of fun, huh? Okay, so now we're going to need a layer for each of these cards. So my card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I need a layer for each of these colors at 4 by 5 1/4. And because I didn't print out the card, I don't know who did it. It was on Instagram. I will, when I get off here, I will tell you, because I meant to print out the card so I could show you guys before we even got started. But I just didn't, I wasn't thinking. And I'm doing it slightly different, so I'll post a photo and I will tell you guys who it was who originally did it. And then you'll see that I did mine a little bit different. So now I just need a Whisper White piece that we're gonna stamp on. And so I'm just doing that at 3 3/4 by 5. And this is going to give me my layer that I'm gonna stamp on. And I think we have all these blends because we need blends to make this work. Okay. So we have these. So this is how these are going to go. They're just going to layer together, right? Like nothing too fancy here. And what we're going to need out of here is this heart, this tiny heart. This is a tiny, tiny heart. And then we're going to need, I'm going to do thank you because I'm going to use these as thank you cards. But you could use any of these sentiments for this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. So now I'm going to do these in each color. So I'm going to need Bermuda Bay blends. It's going to be a lot of coloring. I don't know if you guys are going to have time to stick around for all the coloring. I got to find, don't we have Gorgeous Grape? Violet. Do we not have Gorgeous Grape? Blackberry Bliss. Oh, we don't have Gorgeous Grape blends. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I thought we did. Okay, and then we have Lovely Lipstick. These are Lovely Lipstick, right? Okay, we might not do the Gorgeous Grape one. For some reason, I thought that we had Gorgeous Grape. So we'll definitely do these two. I am going to start with Bermuda Bay because it's my favorite, and we'll see how long it takes. And then we'll see. Okay, so it's kind of hard trying to remember how this was. I think I'll do it 2 different ways. Okay, so what we're going to do is do the stamping. I'm just going to dive in and do this. Now, all of a sudden, I'm nervous that I can't remember how the card goes. So I'm just taking a nail file and I'm cleaning up the edges of my trimmer because, my paper, because I've been using my trimmer like crazy and I haven't changed my blade. So did everybody see that a new batch of blades will be coming to Stampin' Up? I posted it a little bit ago, a couple days ago. There is a date and a time that they will be available. And then the most exciting news is that we will have a new trimmer by the end of the year. And the new trimmer costs less than the current trimmer. So this was $30. The new trimmer is going to be, it's going to cost less. And there's a few things. It's going to look pretty much like this. I have not seen it yet, but I have gotten some details from a couple different places. And now I can't remember if they said it was okay if we talked about it. I guess I don't remember, so I'll just have to say I'm sorry if we're not allowed to. So it looks pretty much like this. It looks very similar to this one. What I've heard is it's not as rounded. It's more square. And then this part here that pulls out, instead of going to 14, it goes longer, I believe. So it's a little bit larger than this one, but it looks very similar and it's going to cost less. So, you know, here's the deal, you guys. These blends, we had very similar markers like this 4 or 5 years ago. They were called Blendabilities. They looked exactly the same. I mean, literally exactly the same. And when they didn't work out production-wise and they were pulled from our product lineup and then we re-released them, we couldn't call them Blendabilities because they had that it was copyrighted, even though it was our copyright, even though it was Stampin' Up's copyright. So we had to call them something different. So I'm assuming, just from past experience, that the trimmer is going to look an awful lot like this. So anyways, if you're waiting on that, they said by the end of the year, like by the end of like 2019. So I have quite a few blades here. I think I'll be okay to be able to just go ahead and kind of wait it out until I get the new trimmer. And then of course, you guys, I'm going to get the trimmer simply because I want to be able to buy all that stuff through myself. You know, I've kind of talked about that before. So if you have any questions, let me know. I don't have a ton of information about it. They've just started talking about it. So I feel like once they start talking, I honestly didn't think we would have a trimmer for, I thought it was going to be, honestly, you guys, like 1,000 years before we got a new trimmer. Like I thought it would be years before we got one. So the fact that like literally like within a year we're getting one, I think is pretty phenomenal. So I'm stamping this in Bermuda Bay. I'm stamping it at an angle. And then we're going to take another piece of white paper and we're just stamping it. That came out blurry. I mean, it doesn't really matter because we're going to cut it up. But we're going to stamp it. Okay, so now we're going to do some coloring. So here is the card. Like this piece is going on the card. So we need to be careful about how we're coloring this. And I really wish I had that photo to go off of because now I'm nervous that I cannot remember. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with our dark. And typically when I've used this stamp, I have rotated where I put my color, right? So I've rotated it from, you know, there's dark, light, right? So instead of doing that, and the reason I'm using blends is because we're going to blend up. And, you know, it might have been a good idea to watch the video on how they created this card before I tried to do it myself. Because as I'm doing this, I'm like, actually, how did they do that? How did they create that look? Did they use blends? I assumed they used blends. Okay. So now we'll go in with our light. And this might be why they used a different color because the original card I saw was pink. And this also could be why I believe it was cut out. We're going to do one that's cut out and one that's not, and we'll just see. I mean, there's nothing wrong with just playing around when you see something that somebody else has created. I hope that everybody realizes that most people that are putting things out online, like when I create something and I put it online, whether that is Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, my hope is that people are copying it, that they're using it for inspiration. I'll get lots of messages where people will say, is it all right if I copy that card? And my response is always, absolutely, why else? Oh, man. I went right out of that line. Ugh, that's going to be a problem. I need to maybe not talk while I'm coloring. That's why I create and I put it online, is in hopes that somebody will think that it's somewhat good and will want to create it. So that's how most people feel. I know I've seen a few people who are like, don't ever copy the things that I'm sharing. The rule basically, I feel like, is as long as you're not entering it to win something, as long as you're not claiming the work as your own, as long as you're saying like, this is where I got the idea from, most people are pretty okay with it. Let me look at comments really quick. Oh yeah, for sure, Daisy. I have two of the Stampin' Up trimmers. I have them sitting at each end of my desk. So I have one down here where I stamp, and then one down where I do my Project Life stuff. And then I have several other different trimmers. Here's a funny story about trimmers. When I first started crafting, I scrapbooked. So I did a lot of 12 by 12 stuff. Like I was doing 12 by 12 layouts. I actually didn't do cards at all. I didn't do anything kind of this small. But I did 12 by 12 scrapbook pages and stuff. And when I was dating my husband, one of the things that we used to always do is we would drive to the city. I lived close to Chico, if you're familiar where that is in California. I lived pretty close to Chico. And so we would drive into Chico and we would go to the mall and, you know, whatever, go do things. And we would always go to like Michael's and stuff because I had just got into scrapbooking and stuff. And so when we got married, the very first thing I purchased crafting wise after we got married was a 12 by 12 trimmer because I didn't have a trimmer. I was cutting all of my paper by hand. Isn't that so funny? Like with a ruler and so I bought a trimmer, and it was so funny because I felt bad for buying it. I worked when we first got married. I was working and stuff, but we, you know, were of the generation or of the belief, like we just combined and, you know, all of our finances were combined. And so I hadn't asked him. I like went after work to Michael's and I bought this trimmer, and I was like, I'm sorry, I bought a 12 by 12 trimmer. I mean, he never cared, but it was so funny because I was like, is that okay that I did that? But I remember the luxury then of having a trimmer and not having to use a ruler. So now you can see I'm just, with my light marker, I'm just coloring it. Like I'm not doing any more dark. I wanted the dark kind of here at the bottom, and I'm even going back and kind of filling that in. Again, I'm not sure exactly how the original card was done because I didn't look. So it was kind of funny that like now when I think of all the trimmers, because I still have that original trimmer, and it was a Cricut trimmer. It was by Cricut, the brand. And then I have several Fiskars trimmers. I have several creative memory. Like, remember back in the day when we had creative memory? So I have several of those. Okay, so I'm just filling this in, and I've talked about this before, about the reason I like to color with blends. I'm not great at it. I don't do great coloring with them, but I like that they are so, because they're alcohol markers. I did it again. I went out of the lines. Because they're alcohol markers, they come out so smooth. Okay. So now I'm just going to go back over this, and I'm going all in one direction. I totally went out of the lines. Okay, so now I don't know if this is going to work. Where is my Bermuda Bay ink pad? Okay, so we're going to take the Bermuda Bay ink pad. It kind of looks like a mess on camera, like from so far away. But does that look a little bit better? You can see up close. I think the next one we do, I'll cut it out. I think that's going to be the key to making this look a little bit better. So I'm taking a little tiny heart, and I'm stamping right inside where I've already colored. And I'm overlapping this, and I'm doing it really close together here at the bottom. And then we're going to start spacing them out more. And it almost looks, again, probably should have looked how they actually did the card. It almost looks like they're floating around in there. Okay, so do you guys see that? Yes, that's my favorite one, Daisy. I have that one too. I use it for Project Life a ton. Okay, so now let's go ahead and come over here, and we're going to pick one of these squares, and we're going to color them, or triangles. I'm sorry, they're not squares. And I think this one is a good one. And this isn't going to matter if I go out of the lines. Like, it's not going to matter. I want to blend this out, and I want it to have some variation. But it's seriously, I mean, it does not matter for 2 seconds if you go out of the lines, because we're going to cut it out. And I think that that's probably what I should have done with the one on this card. So now we're going to come in, and we're going to trim this out. We're going to cut the little triangle out, and you don't have to worry about it being perfect, because we have a trick to make it look perfect. We're going to come in with our dark blend, and we're going to go right on the edge. The first thing that's going to do is that's going to create a darker line on the edge. So it's going to give this piece some depth. And then it's also going to cover up all of the white. So where you fussy cut that, it's not going to show. Okay, so we don't want to lose that piece. And then you guys know I have to grab my Wink of Stella. And I have to give this some shimmer. Okay, here's where things are going to get tricky. Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to take a black marker, and we have to do some drawing. Okay, so we're going to do some practice because I've not done this. So what we want to do See, I'm glad I'm practicing because that looks ridiculous. So what if we go... See, that looks ridiculous too. Okay, so how do I do this? So if it's like this, we want to come down. like that maybe. Okay, so let's try this. Okay, just do it. Don't be scared. And already I think this looks ridiculous. Like we're definitely gonna have to redo this. Oh yeah, I put it too close. Ugh. I put my little loop too close. Because this is supposed to go here. And it's supposed to look like a balloon. But this does not look like a balloon, does it? It does not. Let's get a dimensional. Okay. You guys, it's very, very rare that I want to make something that I see. So, sometimes it doesn't always work out the first time you do it. So now this little piece is supposed to go, well, I mean, that's not horrible. Okay, so we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna finish the whole card, and then we're gonna do one in pink, and I'm gonna do a few things different. Okay, so now let's put this onto our Bermuda Bay. I'm wondering if I don't use blends, if it's gonna be better. Okay, and I'm also wondering if cutting it out is gonna be the key. Okay, so let's use some foam. We'll pop this piece up, and then we're gonna evaluate the situation. I had such high hopes for this first go around situation. Oh. Okay, so there's the idea, but it doesn't look the best. So let's come over here. We're going to use Lovely Lipstick. Where's Lovely Lipstick? Do we not have Lovely Lipstick anymore? Oh, yeah, we do. Okay. I started to freak out for a minute. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, could I really not know this? Okay. But Lovely Lipstick looks like it's been through the ringer here. So let's wipe this off. Because I'm dealing with white cardstock, I feel a little paranoid that I'm going to end up getting ink on something. Okay, are my hands good? Okay, are we ready to try this again? So this is the concept of the card, so let's see if we can do it better. Okay, so we have our card base and our Lovely Lipstick cardstock. So I think that's pretty standard. Then we have what we're going to stamp on. So this time, let's stamp it in black and let's use the ink. So let's clean this off. And then let's see, if I want to do watercoloring, I need StazOn, right? Somebody tell me, is it StazOn I need if I'm going to do watercolor type? Memento ink is for blends, and then StazOn is for watercoloring. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong while I re-ink this. Oh, don't you just love the smell of StazOn ink? Okay, so I got a confirmation. I got a yes that that's what I need to do. Okay, so I'm just re-inking this. I don't know if you guys can see. I might be off camera. My StazOn tends to get dry really bad, especially in the summer. Okay. So StazOn. Okay, so I got a couple confirmations. That's what I'm supposed to do. Okay, so now let's do the heart again. And then since I just re-inked that, let's just stamp it once. Yeah, see? You gotta work that ink kind of into that ink pad. So let's do that and just... Okay. Okay, are we ready? I'm very nervous about this now. Okay, so as I stamp this, any suggestions from you guys? Do you get what I'm trying to do? Let me know if you have any suggestions. So there it is, and I feel like it didn't stamp great, but we're gonna do the coloring, so hopefully it won't matter a ton. And then I feel like I need to stamp this here so we can do the cutting out. It might not be the best idea to do this when you're tired, when you're trying to figure out a new like technique, but it's totally fine. Okay, so now to do the watercoloring, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my Wink of Stella, and we're gonna use Lovely lipstick. So what I'm gonna do is just press this together. I'm pinching it. With these newer ink pads, I know it doesn't seem like you're pinching it, it doesn't feel like it, but you really are. See? And then what I like to do is, instead of leaving it open, because then it kind of flops around, shut the ink pad a little tiny bit and it will stay flat. Like it evens the, not the pressure, but the weight is what I'm trying to say, the weight. Okay, so we're going to keep a wipe out because what I want to do is be able to wipe this off if I need to. This is a pretty new Wink of Stella, I think. I just ordered like 6 of these and I got them because, guys, somebody was calling me. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, the idea is gonna be to have the darker color on the bottom. I got a lot of Wink of Stella in that ink, you guys. Whew. You want to be careful with this because this is just Whisper White paper. So the more liquid you get on it, the more it's going to tend to break down. Whew, this is a lot of Wink of Stella. Okay. So I am just coming into more of the ink and putting it at the bottom and then pulling it up. And then I'm getting kind of more of the Wink of Stella and more of the ink at the top. So I'm trying to get it darker at the bottom. Whew, that is a lot of Wink of Stella. You guys can probably hardly even see the color because it's so much Wink of Stella. Dang. Oh, and I did it right on the card base. Dang it. We're gonna cut it out. So we'll just have to cut another card base, which is fine. Okay, so do you guys see how that's working? And with that stays on ink, the lines are not running, so that's good. And then we can clean it up as we go. We just gotta get that color laid down to begin with. And then I'm gonna get this closer to my camera so you guys can see, because I know it's a little bit hard to see with all the glimmer. I mean, I definitely think it's going to be prettier than the Bermuda Bay one. Oh, see right there, my paper is starting to tear. See, walk away, let it dry, let it dry, let it dry. I am trying to be careful around the edges. We're going to cut it out, so it really won't matter, but... Okay, so can you guys kind of see, like, the difference? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back in here, and then I'm going to bring the dark kind of up. So I'm just getting more of that ink. And then sort of like blending it. This is a way that you can do this and sort of blend out your color. I mean, it is a little bit harder to blend in that sense. Ooh, there goes a bunch of more Winkostella. Ooh. Okay, it is harder to blend in the sense that the ink isn't necessarily moving around with it. Like with the blends, I feel like it's so super easy to blend, right? Because that's what they do. That's what they're made to do. In this case, you're getting some spots that are maybe not as blended out. But you can totally get some of that darker by just picking up more ink. Okay. It's hard to tell if this is even. Ooh, I went a little overboard with the Winkostella, guys. Okay. So we can close that part. And then, like I said, I accidentally stamped on this piece. So we're just going to dry this. We'll let it sit for a minute. And then we need another piece of cardstock here. And we need this at 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, so these two pieces can go together. And then let's just clean up these edges. I had to cut a lot of black cardstock, and I feel like the black cardstock, particularly our black cardstock, really frays really bad. Okay, so I don't want to glue this down until I get everything situated in case I mess up. Okay, so let's cut this out. And I'm just going to get as close as I can to the edge, and we're going to do that same trick with the blend pen. Ooh, this is not all the way dry yet either, you guys. You got to be careful. There's a lot of ink and stuff on here. A lot of Winkostella, so my paper is still, you know, it's like wet paper. I wonder if I should hit it with my heat tool. We might do that. I think this pink one's gonna come out the best. And it sort of makes me sad because I really wanted the Bermuda Bay one to come out the best. Okay, so then just take that blend and then just go right around the edge. That's going to make it look like you cut it perfect. It's going to take all that white away. You could do that with the black. You could do that with a black like Sharpie. I have a Sharpie here at my desk that specifically I use it for that. Okay, so let's grab my heat tool and I'm just gonna heat this up. Okay. So you can sort of see a little bit better. Can you guys see closer? The coloring is different. So I feel scared to do this. Like I don't want to ruin this piece, but I want to do the stamping in it. I'm turning the heart as I stamp. Okay, I really don't know. I'm just doing it. Now I'm just diving in. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see that really, really well. Okay. So now we're gonna have our heart here. And then remember we need our little triangle. So we'll do the same thing. We'll grab a little bit of this and it really won't matter because now it's really easy to see this trick here on this because I'm not even worried about the lines. So this really came out lighter to darker. Can you guys see that? You'll be able to see it really well when I cut this out. Okay, so for this one, we're gonna do black. So I'm on the edges. So I'm just gonna grab my black blend. And I'm going to do that same thing. And then what you guys are going to be able to see is the variation of color. Okay, so if this is here, like if I have this here, then my black line, ugh, this is where I messed it up last time, I feel like. Okay, I feel like that's a little bit better. This pen that I'm using is a gel pen. It is it's a glaze pen. So it has this like glazed look to it, and it kind of, when I was doing it, what's that word? Like the ink pulled. Okay, I don't know if you can see that or not, but see how it kind of dragged? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put this heart up on dimensionals. Oh yeah, maybe that was a better idea, Daisy, to draw it first. Okay. Sorry, guys. So this is up on dimensionals now. And the paper's kind of all weird. It's warped because it was wet and I dried it and then it's got ink on it, you know, so it is, oh, and look at that. Okay, it's okay, we'll fix it. So we're gonna put this like right here. And then this triangle. We have this other piece that's been hanging out on my scissors. Okay, so that looks way better. Way better than the Bermuda Bay. So let's clean this up. Okay. Now we'll stamp "Thank you" with lovely lipstick. Not horrible. So far, so good. Oh, this would make a great Valentine's Day card. Okay, so I have a little bit of ink here. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try to grab my little sand eraser. I'm gonna try to get rid of that. And it worked pretty good. Okay. So this being open makes me totally nervous. Okay, so now let's pop this piece up with some foam. Oh, I have a piece right here. So then, does anybody know what I want to do next? And I don't know if I should just not do it. Just try to guess. Okay, so what I want to do, I don't know if I will or not. Is I don't think I have any that really match though. Like I feel like this might be, oh, this might be pretty. I don't know, is that too bright, you guys? Oh, you know what? I know what I'll do. I feel like that's just too bright. So you know what we'll do? This might be pretty. Okay, so our choices are these. I feel like this would be prettier. And you could, instead of doing the sequence, you could totally just stamp the heart, the little heart. Do you know what I mean? That's just like iridescent sequence. I don't know if I'll use that many or not. Okay, and then I want to show you guys these side by side, so we can see the difference. Whoa. I never would have thought to do this as a card on my own. Never in a million years would I have thought to do this. It's very, very rare that I take a stamp set and I come up with something original. Like most of the time when I'm creating, I've taken, you know, several ideas or a sketch, and I'm using that to make my cards. Okay, so there's my sequence on there. I don't know, it might have looked better without. So here is this card. This is the second one we did. Let's move it out of the way. And then here's the Bermuda Bay one, which my string is not the best over here on my Bermuda Bay one, but I feel like with the blends, it didn't work as well. Yeah, like, I don't know if that's ink or no, it wasn't. Okay, good. So I feel like definitely with the doing the Wink of Stella and the ink, I feel like worked way better than doing the blends on here. And I feel like, remember how I did this piece where I just took it and I went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it kind of, you know, gets lighter as it goes? I feel like you could totally do that with the stamped image. Like you could just start at the bottom and go, since you're cutting it out, it wouldn't even matter if you were very precise, and you could just go back and forth, and then it would be darker and then lighter. Do you guys know what I mean? Like, since we have this, I'll show you guys. So you would stamp and stays on. We won't make a whole other card, but I'll just show you guys what I mean. So you stamp with stays on, and because you're cutting it out, it doesn't really matter. And then do your ink again. And then in this case, getting a lot of that Wink of Stella into the, ooh, whoa, not, maybe not that much, but I mean, I guess that works. So then just going like this is going to be really pretty. And then you could cut it out, so then it's not going to matter. That might give it a smoother look, like a smoother transition than the way I did it. I've really been wanting to do a galaxy background, and this is kind of like, so just like that. And then just wipe off your Wink of Stella. Your tip might be a little stained. Usually it wipes off pretty well. Like you can't even tell I've used as much of the lovely lipstick as I have. But then it might be a little bit easier to do and a little bit more even. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed these cards. I'll put these up in a PDF for you guys so you guys can print it out, the instructions and all the measurements. The measurements are really easy. They're just 3 layers. And then I will also put up a photo of the original card I seen, because again, this is not an idea that I had on my own. It really, I'm going to turn off the light and see if the glimmer it'll be less glimmery. So then maybe you'll get a better idea of how it looks. I know that makes it a little tiny bit dark, but you might be able to see. So this was not my original idea. I totally saw it and wanted to make this, and I really probably should have watched how they did it first, because I don't know if I did it right. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this. Don't forget that this is the last weekend that you can sign up for the paper share for the holiday catalog. So that holiday catalog is going live really soon. It goes live on September 4th. I'll be doing a catalog walkthrough and I'll be sharing all of that. But Wendy and I are wrapping up all of the details for the paper share. So we've started on all of that. We designed the cards. So now all of the cards are designed for the card kits for that, which is really exciting that those are now in place. And they are cute, you guys. They are super cute. And so if you want to sign up for that paper share, the link will be in the description as soon as I'm done here. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this. If you have any questions, let me know. And then I will be back next week and we will be diving into holiday catalog product. So I'll be using holiday catalog stuff to create with you guys. So I hope you're having a wonderful day, a great Friday, and I'll talk to you guys later.